I want to begin with a question. A question that each of you has asked yourself at some point in your life. Why am I still here? I'm talking about the feeling of waking up every day and doing the same things over and over again with no real change. The kind of feeling where you look in the mirror and wonder if you're making any progress at all. I've been there. I felt it. The frustration, the disappointment, the confusion. In fact, I didn't always know where I was going. I didn't always know what the next step was. There was a time when I was just like you, stuck, confused, and tired of living a life that seemed to be going nowhere. It was hard. Life was hard. I had dreams, but they felt so far away. Every day felt like a repeat of the one before. Nothing ever seemed to change. I remember being in my 20s, living a life that seemed normal, but deep inside, I knew something wasn't right. I was doing the work. I was putting in the effort. I was trying to build something. But every day I woke up feeling like I was in the same place. I felt like I was constantly treading water, just barely keeping my head above the surface. But no matter how hard I worked, I never seemed to move forward. This went on for a long time. I went through the motions of life, work, eat, sleep, repeat. I had no direction, no purpose. I was just existing. If you're in a similar place right now, I want you to know this. I understand. I know how it feels to be stuck. I know how it feels to look around and see everyone else moving ahead while you're standing still, watching, waiting for something to change. But here's what I want to tell you today. It doesn't have to be like that. It doesn't have to stay the same forever. Your life can change. You can break out of this cycle. You can move forward. But it begins with one thing: changing the way you think, changing your mindset. Because that's the key. That's the difference between living the life you're living now and living the life you truly want to live. You see, success isn't about working harder. It isn't about doing more. It isn't about trying to push through more obstacles or working longer hours. Success comes when you change the way you think about life. It comes when you start thinking differently, when you start looking at the world in a new way. Let me take you back to when I realized this. I was 25 years old. I was struggling. And I felt like I had no way out. My finances were in shambles and I could barely afford the simplest things. And then there was this one moment that changed everything. It wasn't some dramatic event. It wasn't some huge breakthrough. No, it was something small. But it was that small moment that made me realize just how much I needed to change my life. It was a day when I couldn't even afford a box of Girl Scout cookies. You might be thinking, why does that matter? It's just cookies, but in that moment, it wasn't just about the cookies. It was about the fact that I couldn't afford them. It was a wake-up call. It made me realize just how far I had fallen and how stuck I truly was. I was living a life that wasn't working, and I had to do something about it. So I did what any person would do in that situation. I decided to make a change. But it wasn't just any change. I wasn't going to just work harder or try to push through. No, I knew I needed something bigger than that. I needed new ideas. I needed to change my thinking, my approach, my mindset. I started seeking answers, looking for people who had already figured it out, who had the knowledge I needed to break free from the rut I was in. And that's when things began to change for me. It wasn't immediate. It wasn't easy. But little by little, as I started looking for new ideas, as I started talking to people who had been where I was and had found their way out, my life began to shift. I started to see things differently. I started thinking differently. I realized that the only way to change my life was to change my mindset. The world is full of ideas, powerful, life-changing ideas. But here's the thing: ideas don't come to you by accident. You have to go looking for them. You have to actively search for them. You have to be hungry for new knowledge. You have to keep your mind open and ready to receive whatever comes your way. At first, it might feel like you're not getting anywhere. You might read book after book or attend seminar after seminar and feel like nothing is clicking. But trust me, that's normal. The key is to keep going. Keep seeking, keep learning, and keep looking for the answers. Because when the right idea hits you at the right time, it will change everything. When I was searching for answers, I found myself reading more than I ever had before. I attended seminars and workshops. I met people who had the success I dreamed of. I listened to their stories, took notes, and absorbed everything I could. I wasn't afraid to learn, to grow, to change. And eventually, the right idea came. It wasn't just any idea, it was a life-changing idea. An idea that gave me the direction I had been searching for. And from that point on, everything started to change. As I began to absorb these new ideas, something incredible happened. I started noticing opportunities that I had never seen before. They were all around me, just waiting for someone to see them. But it wasn't until I changed the way I was thinking that I could finally see them. And once I did, it felt like the doors to my future swung wide open. I can't stress this enough. Ideas are the building blocks of success. But they are only valuable if you are ready to receive them. It's like trying to plant a seed in the wrong soil. No matter how good the seed is, if the soil isn't prepared to receive it, nothing will grow. It's the same with your ideas. You have to prepare your mind, your life, and your environment to receive them. Ideas don't always come when we expect them. And they don't always come in grand ways. Sometimes they come in the simplest moments. A conversation with a stranger, a book you pick up on a whim, or a small incident that causes you to stop and think. These moments may seem insignificant at first, but they carry the seeds of change. The key is to recognize them, to pay attention, and to take action. I want you to think about this. There was a time when the world believed that communism was an indestructible system. For decades, it was the dominant ideology in parts of the world, and people believed that it would never fall. But then, in the late 20th century, something incredible happened. The right ideas at the right time changed the course of history. In just a few short years, the Iron Curtain fell. The Berlin Wall came down. And communism as we knew it came to an end. All of this was possible because the right ideas found their way to the right people at the right time. Ideas that were powerful enough to change the world. This is what happens when you align yourself with the right ideas. When you find the ideas that match your goals, your dreams, your vision, and you begin to act on them, you create momentum. You create change. You create progress. But it starts with finding those ideas and believing in them. Now let's talk about success. I know many of you want success. You want to achieve something great in your life, whether that's financial success, personal growth, or simply a deeper sense of fulfillment. The truth is, success doesn't come from trying to get everything you want for yourself. It comes from helping others get what they want. Think about it. Some of the wealthiest, most successful people in history didn't build their fortunes by chasing money. They built their fortunes by serving others. Take Andrew Carnegie, for example. He started with nothing, just like many of us. But he didn't focus on his own wealth. Instead, he focused on serving people. He built steel mills, created jobs, and improved the lives of thousands of people. And in return, he became one of the wealthiest men in the world. This principle is simple, yet powerful. The more you serve others, the more success you will attract. The more you help people, the more your life will grow and expand. Success is not a zero-sum game. It's not about taking from others to build your own fortune. It's about creating value for others, helping them succeed, and in turn, creating a life of abundance for yourself. Think about your own life for a moment. What do you truly want? Do you want financial freedom? Do you want to live a life of meaning and purpose? Do you want to feel fulfilled, successful, and at peace? The truth is, all of these things come when you focus on serving others. When you give to others, you will find that your own life becomes richer, fuller, and more rewarding. There is another lesson I've learned along the way. Life is not about surviving, it's about thriving. But to thrive, you have to grow. You have to produce more than what you need. You have to work on yourself, improve yourself, and reach a point where you can give to others. It's like planting a tree. You start with a small seed and you water it, nurture it, and help it grow. Over time, that tree becomes strong and tall. And eventually it bears fruit. This is how life works. When you focus on growing yourself, and when you have more than enough to meet your own needs, you can begin to share your abundance with others. This isn't just about material abundance either. It's about abundance in every area of your life, in your relationships, in your health, in your mindset. The more you give, the more you will receive. This is the secret to living an extraordinary life. But here's the catch. None of this happens by accident. It doesn't happen overnight. The road to success, to fulfillment, to a truly extraordinary life is a journey. And it's not always an easy one, but it is one that is worth taking. I'm sure some of you are thinking, this all sounds great, but how do I actually do it well? The answer is simple. You take small steps every day. You focus on progress, not perfection. And you commit to learning and growing every single day. Even when it's hard. Even when it feels like you're not making progress. Even when it feels like you're failing. Keep going. The key to success is persistence. Think about the seasons of the year. In the winter, everything looks dead. The trees are bare. The ground is cold and hard. But if you look closely, you'll see that underneath the surface, life is still happening. Seeds are germinating. Roots are growing. Change is taking place even though you can't see it. And then in the spring, new life emerges. Flowers bloom. Trees sprout leaves. The world comes alive again. This is how your journey will be. There will be seasons of struggle. There will be winters where it feels like nothing is happening. But if you keep going, if you keep learning and growing, the spring will come. The breakthroughs will come. And when they do, they will be worth every moment of hardship you faced along the way.